For the follower goal, we're going to go over my Smash legacy. Doesn't mean I'm the best player ever, but it does mean that I've had a pretty cool career. We've done a lot of fun things. We've met a lot of boys and played a lot of games. So we're going to start this in 1999. So I don't know if you guys were alive back then. I was 6 years old when Smash 64 came out. So me and my brother, we would rent games at Family Video and Blockbuster because we were poor as shit. So we couldn't really afford anything. But if you guys remember, Family Video and Blockbuster, we used to go here every weekend with my dad, and we would rent shit. We rented Smash 64, and I fucking pounded everybody. So I think at the first time I played the game, I really loved it. But, you know, I was just a little kid, so obviously I wasn't good or anything. We played Smash 64 here and there, and then in 2001 when Melee came out, we also played that for a while. But again, we never played it competitive or anything. And if you guys remember, Brawl came out in 2008, and I played it with all the homies. And I ended up playing Captain Falcon in Brawl. And just to show you guys, this was the first tier list. Meta Knight was top tier. DDD was top tier in the beginning. And then you had Brawl. You had Falcon all the way at the bottom. And I ended up playing Falcon I played Falcon for about 4 years. So that's kind of where my story starts, is playing Falcon in Brawl. The story kind of starts in 2009 when I made my Smashboards account. So this is the Falcon forums. And you can see that I have like 3 out of the 5 pins on here. I spent a ton of time writing guides, looking at frame data, doing all that shit for Falcon back in the day. So I did that a lot in 2009, 2010. And then my first tournament was in 2010, Michigan Ball Z. This was on the east side. But this was my first tournament. It was in the church. It was in the basement of a church in East Michigan. This is Michigan. This is where I'm from. So Grand Rapids was kind of like the area I was in, and a lot of the tournaments back in the day were all on the east side, so like Livonia, Ann Arbor area. But yeah, my first tournament, I was like 16, got a ride with El Cancel or something, and we went to East Michigan for that. So as I went over, you know, I played Falcon. He was a dog shit character, so I always had like a lot of tough matchups I had to do. You can see my first bracket here. So I'm right here. I played Omni, who was a good player, and then I think I lost to MC, who was a snake or something. But it was my first tournament. I didn't get dead last. So this was in the days of like Judge, Anther, El Cancel Lane. So that was for Brawl. So to give you guys a heads up on the spreadsheet, what I did was I went through like all of the old brackets, just searched all of my names and everything. So some of the dates are wrong. I didn't find every single tournament, but I found like enough stuff that I was able to make the follower goal work. On this sheet, this is all my Brawl tournaments. You can see it starts from 2010 and it goes to 2014. It doesn't have any like net play brackets or any of that stupid crap. I did play a ton of Wi-Fi during this time. So I was like a Wi-Fi warrior back in the day. So the next tournament I'll highlight is Skynet. So this is where I met Michael. He's in chat. He's money matching me right now. So these are the tournaments that I met a lot of my friends at. So this was way back in 2011. These were the Skynet Brawl tournaments. So you can see here, I actually did pretty well. I got 5th with Falcon, and he's obviously a dog shit character. I had some close sets with Tech Chase and Roller. These were both really bad matches for Falcon. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on Brawl, but I'm going to show you guys a little bit of stuff. This is some OG Brawl shit. So if you guys don't know, Ice Climbers have a chain grab, and this is what it looks like. So you can watch here. So they have a handoff, and they can do some really stupid shit. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of Brawl shit. Not too much. Yeah, I loved Scar back in the day. So if you guys don't know, I mean, Scar, he's not great anymore, but back in 2010, Scar was actually like a really good player. And he had like all the best combo videos. So like I really liked Scar. He was kind of like my inspiration. But like taking games off of Ice Climbers with Falcon was really hard. And I wanted to show you guys, this was legal back in the day. the boys back in 2010 played on Rainbow Cruise. So this is my game 3 with Roller. I made him switch off of Ice Climber because I kind of picked him to Rainbow Cruise. So I made him go secondary. And for Brawl standards, this is like a really close match. Oh, I almost killed him there too. I was so close to beating Roller. So back in the day, Roller was like a really good player for Michigan. And I almost beat him with Falcon. And so a similar match, I wanted to show you guys the origins of me hating DDD. And this will show you why I fucking hate this character, even to this day. So this was another pretty bad matchup for Falcon because DDD could just chain grab the fuck out of him. So this is what DDD would do back in the day. He would just do down throw bullshit. And it was just really annoying. So this is the same Skynet tournament where I almost took out a bunch of good players with Falcon. And then fucking Tech Chase counterpicks me to Pokemon Stadium 2. So I want to show you guys this. This was a legal stage back in the day. This is the fucking, the stage where the gravity is really low. The transformations on the stage are just hilarious. So this is Unfrozen Pokemon Stadium 2. This is some of the crap that it looks like. It's pretty ridiculous. But it was a good CP for DDD because he had walls. So I was close. I was very close to beating him. But he beat me in the best of 3. But it was a very close set. I have one more Brawl thing to show you guys, and then we'll go to PM. So this is one of my matches versus Geo. And if you guys saw the tier list, Meta Knight obviously one of the best characters, Falcon one of the worst. And this was one of my matches playing against Geo. This is what like the stuff looked like back in the day.
One good thing about this character.
You guys gotta check this out.
Oh my god!
So I fucking destroyed that guy. But yeah, my hair was ridiculous. My hair was ridiculous back then. I lost the set. But and that's an OG Falcon Punch in tournament. Pretty silly. Yeah, you guys are gonna see a lot of silly old stuff. You guys are gonna see a lot of silly stuff here. So I think that's most of my Brawl shit. I only want to go over one more. There's one more Brawl tournament I want to show you guys. So I started doing house tournaments. This was back in like 2013. I did a lot of house tournaments. So this is the house tournament that kind of changed things. So this was the house tournament where I wanted to run Brawl low tiers as a side event. Obviously because I wanted to play Falcon and fuck people up. But my friends convinced me to run Project Melee, which this was in 2012. So this was like right when, I think this was 2.6. I think you guys played 2.6 back then. You guys convinced me to run Project Melee side bracket, and I didn't enter. And you can see the results here. Ally won. Michael got second with Link. But after the tournament, we did a crew battle, and the boys convinced me to play. And I had no idea how to play the game, right? So I just picked Donkey Kong, and then I was just getting schlonged by, I think, I was getting schlonged by Leo or like Flan or something. I eventually took one stock with DK, and then I did the pause taunt, and then for whatever reason the crowd just went wild. Like it was so funny. So after that crew battle, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start playing PM. This is like some OG fucking. This is OG shit. Yeah, it was like DK versus Zelda. I had no idea how to play the fucking game. Oh, and we won. I think this was like one of the first times I won money, because I teamed with Elliot, and I think I got 4th. This was one of the tournaments where ORLY came over. So I think that's pretty much all of Brawl. And then after that I started to switch to PM. But we're gonna do a bit of a segue here because I have one melee bracket to show you guys. This is fucking important, boys. Okay. So this was a bar tournament in Ann Arbor. I played like a little bit of melee here and there, but I wasn't like amazing or anything. I just played Falcon and melee. I think this was in 2016. This was a bar tournament in Ann Arbor. So everyone's kind of drinking, having fun. And little did I know, but Armada showed up to this tournament. Armada was doing a sub goal. So he was going low tier characters and he was fucking drunk. I play my matches. I don't know. I don't remember who these guys are. I beat 2 people. And then I look at the bracket. I'm like, oh, fuck. I have to play against Armada. So I sit down next to Armada. we're both kind of drinking. You know, it's a bar tournament. We're just having fun. And then he picks Young Link, and then he kind of like just fucks me, right? So I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? So game two, I made some adjustments, and it's still Falcon versus Young Link. And then I fucking slapped his butt around. And then it's game three. He's thinking about his counter pick, and he picks Game & Watch, but he doesn't know that I'm a PM player. So I know these matchups. So he picks Game & Watch thinking that he can beat me, but I fucking pounded this boy on Battlefield. I'm like doing suicide knees. I'm like destroying this guy. I think I like 2-stock him. No, it wasn't on stream. It was not on stream, unfortunately. I wish it was. But yeah, dude, my heart was beating so fast. Like, I'm kind of drunk, and I'm just like, okay, I know he's picking low tiers, but still, it's fucking Armada. So if you guys don't know, this was back in 2016. And back then, this was when Armada was at his peak. Like, he hadn't lost a single set all year. And just fucking random Lordy seed 33 takes out Drunk Armada's Young Link. And if you guys don't believe me, you guys might not believe me, but that's okay. Because I have this. This is a picture of me and Armada talking about doubles. So it's real. So I just want to do that. That was a quick segue on my Melee. That's my entire Melee career pretty much. Nothing else in my Melee career matters at all. So now we're going to go back to Project M. So we're going to pretend Melee doesn't exist anymore. So now we're going to rewind back to 2013. And I want to show you guys my first... This is my first Project M tournament. This was Like Effect 1. Project M singles. 17 people. Take a look at who got last place. That's right. Lord Helmet got last fucking place at his first tournament. So this is... so back in the day, if you guys don't know, there were shout-out threads. We used to do shout-out threads where they would post tournament results and then people would post their shout-outs. So, okay, this is in 2013. I want to read you guys what I said. I had fun fucking around with the West Michigan boys. I will go back to Grandland anytime. I started picking up the game pretty fast. My matches were pretty close. If I get my tech skill down, I'll be the best. So this was in 2013. And then we're going to do a quick segue here to Lake Effect 2. So here's Lake Effect 2. Not very long later. Lake Effect 2, I got first place, winning a decent chunk of money back in the day. Beating Solharath, Benji, Ginger. So Ginger played a lot back then. He played Falco, but he couldn't beat me because I just fucking pounded his butthole. Back in 2013, we're going to rewind a little bit. I want to talk about Nerd Rage. This was my first out-of-state tournament. This was in Ohio. So they had players like, these are like old school names if you guys remember. Reflex Wonder was there. Oro was there. Kirk the Bowser was there. Strongbad was there. Oracle. Scythe. Bro. Like all the old school people were here. So I got 17th at my first out-of-state tournament, which wasn't too bad. And then my second big tournament was Big House. So this was Big House 3. And I had actually broken my foot. So I was running around on crutches during this. So this was Big House 3. And I lost to SFAT in winners. He picked Falco. And we actually had some decently close games. But that's when I met SFAT back in the day. And then one more tournament for 2013. So this one was hilarious. This one was called a prophetic snow warning. And so for you guys who don't know, in Michigan in the winter, everything's fucking snowing as fuck. This tournament, there was a snowstorm before the tournament. We had to move the venue. And this was one of the first smaller tournaments that I won. This was one of the locals. Yeah, this is one of the tournaments that on our way to the tournament, T-Bird was driving. The roads were so fucking bad. We stopped to get ice, like bags of ice, so we could put it in the trunk, so that we'd have a little bit more traction. And like on the off ramp for one of the highways, we fucking spun out. Yeah, it was fucking crazy, but we made it. Yeah, MCK, we made it to the tournament though. So this was one of the funny ones. This was one of the old school funny tournaments back in 2013 where we almost fucking died, but we made it, and I got first. That's all that matters. So 2014 is the important year, boys. This is the year that I really fucking popped off. So I showed you guys Lake Effect 2. That was my first big tournament win. My first big Eastside tournament was Summer Smash. This is where I met Lane. So Lane was one of the best East Side players. This is also where I teamed with T-Bird. So I teamed with T-Bird and we won doubles together, which was just fucking hilarious. So this is when I met Lane. He was one of the best Brawl players. He played Ice Climbers and Meta Knight. When I first played Lane, I think he beat me with Falcon or something, and he switched to Falcon, and I started whooping him. And then he did the classic Lane where he started switching around to different characters. So that's where I met Lane. Of course, I won. I made a decent amount of money back in the day. And then in doubles, me and T-Bird won. So this was my first like out of region quotes win. And then there was a series of Manor Smashes. These were a bunch of house tournaments where I had a good string of first places at the Manors. So there was a bunch of locals that I would pretty much always win. Sometimes Benji would win, sometimes Miles would win, but for most of the tournaments I won. So here was the first PR for 2014. So this was the very first Michigan power ranking, and I ended up getting 5th. And then there was also a Kzoo circuit. So this was like a really famous bracket back in the day where this was back in the day when we had 50-man locals. So winning locals was actually a big deal. Like you won a decent amount of money, and there's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of hype. So winning locals back in the day was just really awesome. The first Kzoo tournament, they did a randomly seeded bracket. It was just a fucking clusterfuck at a house tournament, and I ended up winning that, and I ended up getting a bunch of trophies. I'll show you guys those. Let me bring this up. So I want to show you guys the trophies I won from Manor Smash. This one's fucking funny, dude. Look at this shit, boys. So this is what the trophies looked like. They were really shitty, really shitty looking trophies. And this is what they looked like. Like they would the boys who ran the Kzoo ones, they would make custom trophies because they had a bunch of bowling trophies they didn't want. So they glued a bunch of weird shit on it and made these hilarious fucking trophies. So that's what these all looked like. That's what those all looked like. They were fucking hilarious. But anyway, there was a circuit event where it's like a typical circuit. You earn points for each tournament, right? And then there was a final bracket at the end where all the invitees got invited. So this is actually really cool. They had a whole fucking church rented out for this. So this is one of the sickest venues. So look at this.
Let's go, Blake!
And of course, Blake was the fan favorite.
All right.
Blake was the fan favorite. And this is what everything looked like back then.
I'm pretty sure
This was Ike versus Wario for grand finals. Me and Blake, old school rivals. So we had a pretty long set, if I remember right. I believe he reset the bracket on me. But then I think.
There's Waft. There's Waft.
But
We got a game. We got a game. We got a game. Blake just needs to not get hit pretty much.
Exactly.
So-
Blake knows that.
this is Rhythms and Hines. So this is the matchup I played a lot back in the day. Was Ike versus Wario.
Both players are playing with the
Did he smash the eye
Oh,
behind him?
okay.
And I mean it's a long time ago.
Both
So
players want this game so bad right
But it's
now.
literally,
yeah, it was a trade. It was a trade.
Okay, no, good stuff. for
Lordy takes first place.
But yeah, this was one of my biggest tournament wins in terms of prizes. The prize pot back in the day was pretty big, relatively speaking. So that's kind of what some of the streams looked like. And then here's some other streams. So this is just showing you guys some of the older shit. This is me playing against Tetra back in the day.
For me, I have.
This is just. I forgot that I even used the green skin a bunch.
I react for to go for back air.
Absolutely insane.
So
A little
as
bit
I
of
was saying
horizontal
earlier,
there on that rock, actually.
yeah.
Oh, got the roll. Let's see. How do I close this out?
I'm just surprised.
Oh, I just do a forward air. And then I want to show you guys one of my first out-of-state tournaments was Alfa Collusion. This was my first big win out of state. So you can see I was fucking 11th seed, dude. I beat these are all pretty good players now actually. I beat Papa, Dreffen, Fizzle, and HankyPanky. So that's a clean sweep at an Ohio tournament. That was pretty swag. Back in the day when I would travel out of state and just take people's money. That was pretty fun. Oh, this was Lake Effect too. So this was the first big tournament one. It's so funny. The quality is so shitty. But this was my winning stock. This was my winning stock against Miles. So this was another old school rival back in the day. You can see I just fucking forward smashed at 40. Like the quality back then was so shitty. It was so funny. So that was like a lot of the locals back in the West Michigan days. And then I was briefly sponsored. We did some out-of-state tournaments where we went to Chicago and kind of fucked around. I don't need to show the results for this because I don't think it's too relevant. Me, Blake, Solharath, and Lane. We lost to Kells, but like we placed pretty well. This was at a Chicago tournament, which was pretty big. One of my first wins over Jay-Z. So if you guys don't remember Jay-Z back in the day, he was a very good Ivysaur. And I always had trouble playing Ike. So at this tournament, I went Falcon against him. I ended up taking 2 sets over Jay-Z, which was one of the first times I ever like took 2 sets off of him. So this was 2014, I got 5th. Then ranking 2, I climbed up to 3rd. So Anther and Low 1 were some really good East Side players. I eventually became better than Low 1, but I could never beat Anther. Basically at my peak, I was like top 2 in Michigan, but I could never beat Anther. He's the only player in Michigan that I never took a set off of. Now we'll get to, this is still 2014. Lane eventually overtook me, and this was Jay-Z. And this is more of the power rankings. I was able to make every single power ranking in Michigan, except for one where I ended up taking a break. But you can see here I'm 6th. This is when Dirtboy started to pop off back in the day, and then Tetra kind of showed up on the scene. And then this is starting to get into 2016, where I hit top 3 under Dirtboy and Anther. There's some other funny tournaments like Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4, this is where I won my skin. So back in the day, if you won these tournaments, they would Brian Rosner would make a skin for you. So I beat Sam at this tournament and got my my yellow Ike skin that you guys see sometimes. I got that from this tournament. There was one other big out-of-state tournament. This was a pretty crazy tournament. This is when I was sponsored briefly, and Tanner hit me up like a few days before. He's like, "Yo, there's this big tournament in Nebraska. You guys should go." We went all the way from Michigan. We took my ratty ass shitty Honda Civic with like 1 or 2 days notice and drove all the way to fucking Nebraska and entered this big regional tournament with Dark Rain and Mewtwo King. This is what it looked like. This is me. This is my shitty old Honda. Here's me and the boys here. This is me, Michael, and Lane, and my shitty ass Honda here. So this is the bracket here. So this was my first big big streamed out of state tournament. This was one of my big breakout wins back in the day. So here's my bracket. I beat Blank. I don't think that's the Zero Suit Blank. I think that was a different guy. Then I beat Messi, who was like a really good snake back in the day. I think he still plays. Then I played Mewtwo King in winners semis. I did take a game off him. Here's me and Mewtwo King hanging out. But he tried to go Falcon against me and I just fucking pounded his butt. I think I won game 1. So you can see Michael behind me. He's cheered me on the whole time. But here's me against his Falcon.
Sometimes you get a little too fancy.
Yeah.
You might mess yourself up.
Okay.
If we're seeing 3 forward airs in a row, is that going to do it? If he gets that back air, there
back
it
air,
is.
that's done.
That's it. I don't think
Game
he's coming
1.
back.
Oh,
Never mind. I was wrong.
that's
Back air.
game 1.
Mewtwo, he's fucking pissed. Look at him. He's so fucking mad, boys. And there's something hilarious that happened with our Frizz. Yeah, so game 1, you guys gotta see this shit. This was hilarious. Okay, so this is me and Bobby Frizz. He's still a really good player, and he was really good back then too.
True.
This was loser semifinals, I believe.
Oh, he misses it. Goes his back. Nair. Oh, that knee.
So Bobby Frizz did the suicide knee here, and he fast fell too fast and died first.
And
So like look at me, I'm just like holy shit. I'm just like oh god. So I ended up beating Bobby Frizz partially because he did that stupid ass knee. He did that dumb ass knee. And then I played Dark Rain and I was able to take a game off him. But I lost to Dark Rain and losers and got 3rd. So that was like one of my first big out-of-state tournaments. For 2016, I was still really active. I think this is when I started at U of M. So I started to like stop playing in 2016 because I was too busy with school. But one of my last big wins over Dirtboy and Morse was Smash and Chill. So this was when Morse and Dirtboy like really started popping off and like I had a lot of trouble beating them. I ended up beating Dirtboy. Oh, I beat Morse, I beat Dirtboy, and I beat Morse again. And I wanted to show you guys this set. I played a 50-minute set with fucking Morsecode. This is the only time I've ever popped off in my entire life. You guys know that I'm pretty modest, and I try to be nice, and I don't like popping off on people. But this is the only time I ever popped off.
Almost 80. 90. All right, here we go.
And I don't know if I can say I deserve to win this. But this is game 5, set 2.
This is high intense. Like,
We played for fucking 50 minutes.
I don't know what to say right now.
And this is when Morse was starting to get good.
Here we go.
Like obviously, like Lordy has. No.
I fucking look at me! I fucking dude, I killed him so early. Like it was so cheesy. It was such a cheeser. It was so cheesy. I fucking
Here we go.
I like bullshitted on him.
Like Lordy has. No, I killed.
That's the only time I've ever popped off. I fucking flopped so hard. It's the only time. You guys can watch VODs of me. I never pop off. I never pop off. But this time I did. Because that
Bullshit character.
it was bullshit. Yeah, it was bullshit. But that was like the last tournament where like I beat all the other top Michigan players. I fucking popped off there. But there's one other big regional I want to talk about, and that was Smash and Splash. We all went to, so the Michigan boys went to all the Smash and Splashes. That was like the big tournament that everyone went to. So I went to all of them, and I usually placed pretty well. So 2015, I got 17th at the first Smash and Splash, which wasn't too bad for that time period. The second Smash and Splash was one of the really good tournaments. I got 9th out of like 200 some people. That was a really fun fucking tournament. Another tournament. I think this is the last time I like really bodied Morsecode in 2016. I wanted to show you guys this because it's fucking hilarious. Somehow, I don't know how I found this, but I randomly fucking found this video. And this is me playing Morse in Grand Finals. There, okay, I had to find the end. I just fucking charge a forward smash for no reason. He's at like 20%. I killed him at 18%! Dude, this was Grand Finals. Like last game. I don't know why I did that. I'm just fucking charging forward smash for no reason. He's at fucking 18%, dude. He just... and Kev's just like, oh my god. Holy shit. But yeah, it's getting into the retirement arc. So in 2017, I was pretty much like retired because I was finishing out school. But I still played a bit. So Smash and Splash 3, again, I got 9th. This is the tournament where I beat Chalupi, Plup, and Nun. So this was like one of the tournaments where I got some of my big ass wins. I beat Plup Samus, and then I beat Nun's Falcon. And these ones are all on stream, so you guys can look at those if you want. It was pretty hype for me. Those are still, even though they're melee players, still some of the best wins of my career was Chalupi, Plup, and Nun. Yeah, then 2018 we did. So you can see the number of tournaments like drops down dramatically. That's because I was finishing up school and I just didn't have time to play very much. Smash and Splash 4, I got 37th, which is a bit of a drop off. I wasn't as good at this period. And then Evicted, I think, was the side of bracket for Big House. I got 9th at that tournament. So I still placed reasonably well. In 2019, I still would get I would still get wins occasionally at house tournaments, but I was never as good as like 2014. Where like my win rate was like 50% back then. Retirement in school kind of fucked me. So my last Michigan tournament was Odd Party, where I got 4th, which was respectable. And then Smash and Splash 5. This was the last Smash and Splash I entered. I don't know exactly what I got. I was really mad because I was pounding at this Mario, and he like came back on me, game 3 and beat me. 2019 is when I moved to Washington. So we'll go over this pretty quickly, so I moved to Washington and I entered every single tournament because I was trying to meet people and get back into the scene and see what Washington was like. So I had a decent string of where I was kind of learning the players, learning how to learning everybody. And then this was my first win in Washington, where I beat Pikmon's Ike. But this is like my first win in Washington. I beat Pikmon in winners. This is when he like first switched to Ike. So I beat him in winners, then he took a set off me, then I took the next set off him. So this was bullshit. So you guys see I placed it pretty well. Like I'm beating a lot of players. I'm getting 4th, 3rd, 2nd. I got a tournament win. So you can see those results. I had beaten Peter at one of the tournaments. So Peter got 1st on the PR, and they put me at fucking HM. And in my opinion, the reason they did that was because they wanted Youngblood. They wanted their boy Youngblood to get PR, which I understand, but That in my opinion was bullshit. If this tournament had been 1 day earlier, I would have qualified. But since I didn't qualify, even though I like entered every single possible tournament that I could have, they put me at HM. 2020, I don't have too much to talk about. I beat Punk Panda, some other people. Nothing too notable in 2020. This was when obviously COVID hit, so all the tournaments kind of died off, and there wasn't really any rankings. So I couldn't get ranked, but I was still basically top 5. Basically top 5. Same for 2021, there was like no fucking tournaments at all. So this was like the COVID death era, where I couldn't enter anything. This was the only PR in Washington where like I was ranked fairly, in my opinion. You could argue me for 5th, but top 6 for Washington was about right. So this was spring 2020 before COVID hit. So this was kind of like the last ranking I got because there were no more rankings because of COVID. And then 2022. So this year, like I was playing pretty well. I have wins over Chevy, Akimi, Shock Brown, Bladewise, Catosat. I have a win over Pikmon's Mewtwo. So these are all my current tournaments. So you can see second. I only had 1 bad tournament with bad losses so far this year. So I'll see how I get ranked. I'm not too excited because I expect them to give me some biased rankings here. Like, well, they'll put me at something stupid like 7th or something stupid like that. But I've got a ton of good wins racked up for 2022. I believe that's the end of it, boys. When I was active in Michigan, I made every single power ranking. And I was pretty much top 5 for pretty much all of them. So I was always pretty proud of that. And then in Washington, I've basically been top 5 since I moved here. I guess that's all I've got for you boys.
Thank you, LordyHotdog.